With the Dyson swarm and the Alrami system taking shape, our work to begin generating photons has only just begun, especially now that we're not, you know, feeding graphene down the optical grading crystal line. Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Dyson Sphere Program in our Alpha Andromedae series. So with that issue resolved, I should be in much better shape, theoretically speaking, with my various EM rail ejectors. And it does seem like we're in pretty good shape. Yeah. These solar sails are making it all the way down the firing line here. And the current generative capacity of this thing is only 76 megawatts or so. However, that's going to continue to improve. The beautiful thing about having this tidally locked planet is that these will always be firing, and these down here will always be collecting. And as they spend more and more time collecting, they will collect more and more efficiently. Right now, their continuous receiving percentage is only at 3.44%. When this reaches 100%, this will all be orders of magnitude faster. Now, it will be even faster when I can get graviton lenses properly imported to this world. So, well, to tell you the truth, they're not even really going to be imported. They're going to be made here. We're going to produce them here. So let's take a look. Also, it looks like our power generation is more or less at capacity here. So it will probably be a good idea to make this yet another world where I remotely demand some of the energetic graphite. So let's get that underway. I will have some hydrogen here to burn. But what I can do with the energetic graphite right away, since I'm producing so much of it at the moment, again, once I've got these antimatter production facilities in place, we'll be able to have even better power production than what I'm about to set up. But this will be a good stopgap in the meantime. Let's see. Tell you what, let's go ahead and just bring you around like so and back down. A little bit of a lower latitude away from the pole will make it easier to do this. Okay, and just set up one. But then if I have it in a ring like so, there we go. That's literally all of them that I can build. It shouldn't take long before the first energetic graphite appears, and that will help keep power. Yeah, consumption demand is quite high at the moment, so I'm glad I noticed that. One thing that I can do to offset this is that some of the ray receivers can be set to collect. But I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think once the energetic graphite arrives, and once we're producing actual antimatter power, it will be of minimal concern. And there we go. There we go. There's the spike. That was nice and quick. Now, we can do even more than that. We don't have to limit ourselves to just that. So let's see. A bit of stone, and I can build 32 more. Alright, so let's just do... I'll let these 10 more build for now. And then, actually, while that's going, let's take a look at the graviton lens. It's going to require the importing of diamond, which I have, and the construction of strange matter, which will require deuterium, iron, ingots specifically, and particle containers. And particle containers require... If I'm going to make them efficiently, they're going to require unipolar magnets. Now, I do have unipolar magnets importing from our black hole system. Not the most plentiful source. The neutron star that is, you know, several field trips away is a more plentiful source, but we aren't quite at a point where we can easily make that trip without limping along as we did in those episodes. So... Okay, that's what I was afraid of. Hang on. Maybe I might... Yeah. This will work. Let's go a little bit farther south. It's still not going to work. What are you talking about? Okay, hang on. So if I delete the sorter preview. Let's have you more like this, I suppose. That's weird. For whatever reason, even though it's on a lower altitude, or lower latitude, it's saying it's too close. That's incredibly rude. So, I mean, I'll have to do it manually, like this. There we go. Really shouldn't be a problem. But I just want to make sure that we don't have any further issues with power. Because this is going to be... What we're doing on this planet is going to be very important for the foreseeable future in this series. There we go. Alright, that's good enough for me. So... Critical photon. The very first photon has been produced, which means it should be on its way up this line right now. Where are you? There it is. There it is, the very first photon. Eventually this line will be full of them. But right now, there are not that many. And there we go. Our one critical photon has been stored. I'm curious to see if any others... Oh, look at that. Okay, so the first batch is kind of getting shipped there, but this is just the very beginning of everything. So, next order of business, I think what I want to do is go down to the South Pole. I've already got everything connected power-wise down here. At least I think I do. If this isn't connected power-wise, I'm going to be annoyed. Yeah, it is. There we go. Alright, so, yes, I recall now. We had this set up. So, here's what I have to do. We're going to temporarily delete that. And honestly, that thing is not even necessary anymore because I have this connected on both sides. So, let's put another import station down. And then... a couple of things we can do. First of all, oh, you know what? Yeah, having the... I was going to have the warpers flown down from the other... I'm going to have to move them manually. Not a problem. It's just kind of annoying. That way I'm not importing warpers to two different... I'd rather have the slots available. So I'll show you what I mean by this by actually demonstrating. Yeah, let's use this line here. That's going to be the most sensible one. And I want to have it connected to the warper output, which is number 6. Now, what this is going to do is send... No. Excuse you. No, that is not what I wanted you to do. I want you to follow this line exactly, without deviating. So, every single interplanetary logistics station has two... If you, let's say you have an interplanetary logistics station that is importing warpers like this one is. When you're selecting an output line, you'll notice two options for warpers. The first is actually feeding warpers from the imported storage, so the 10,000 strong storage for warpers. The second is feeding it from the logistics station's, shall we say, maintenance storage. The warpers that are actually pulled, which has a cap of 50. For the purposes of transport. So what you can do is you can connect. Now, granted, there are a lot more than 50 on this line, because as the maintenance storage empties out, it feeds these onto the line, and it's treated more like just a natural feed. But notice this is now stocked with 50 space warpers, because I have them feeding from the other station. Instead of having to import them on both, we just set this one up to do what I needed it to do. So, now, the next thing I need to do, we need to get graviton lenses being produced. So, first of all, we need diamonds being demanded, and hopefully we should be able to have a full shipment of them more or less immediately, and it seems like that's going to be the case. That's good. I kind of expected that, but I wasn't sure it was going to happen. 4,000 is a pretty good start. That's almost all of them. So there might not be too many diamonds available, and I might have to increase diamond production to really make this happen, but it's going to be worthwhile. Next, we need strange matter. Strange matter is going to require deuterium to be imported, and it's going to require... Yeah. Alright, so deuterium, it's not going to get imported right away. And even more annoyingly, this is the one that's going to put a strain on my current logistical apparatus. But there it is. Now, it's not even currently importing, because there's so few being imported from the black hole, and remember the black hole is so far away, that it's just saying, I don't understand why you're even asking me that. That is not reasonable. Oh, hey, it's actually importing some. Nice. That was faster than I thought. The deuterium is what is going to be a little bit dicey, because I think the only real sources of deuterium export right now are gas giant logistics stations. So that is something I'm going to have to figure out. But everything else I can go ahead and start kind of planning for. So let's see what I can do here. The strange matter will, of course, require particle colliders to be built. Do I have any of those still in my inventory at all? I do. I have 2. Which... I might be able to build more. Hang on. Thanks to our amazing slots here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's just go ahead and build 10. Just 10. That's all I need. Probably won't even build all 10 of those. But that's a wonderful start. Now, particle colliders will, of course, require lots of power. Again, what we're working towards will negate that as a need. Well, not negate it, but we'll make it... Let's just say it'll trivialize it. Having an artificial star. 72 megawatt output. It won't matter as much. Nice. Logistics carrier capacity just got upgraded again, and now we are on our final technology that we queued up, which is the Vanes utilization technology. Alright, so we're almost done with those. So, what I need to do is I need to get particle containers being produced. The question is, do I have a separate copper production apparatus set up, or do I bring copper down from the existing one and keep everything kind of neat and uniform? So we have copper production happening here. Yeah, I could just extend this line, or I could use a splitter. Imagine that. You know what? That's what I'll do. That is what I'll do. Because why not? Let's go ahead and set up a splitter right here or so. Just like that. And now, with that in place, I really do not have a lot of... Wow, I'm almost completely out of conveyor belt. Alright, I have to go get more. That's a first. That hasn't happened in a very long time. But I should be able to get more pretty easily. Anything else that I can do while I'm here? Not really without conveyor belt. Well, that'll give the resources time to pile up. Let's head back to Alpha Andromedae 2. Lots of progress already. And yeah, those resources that I just set to import at the very, very new interstellar logistics station on the South Pole, we'll now have time to do that. There's Alpha Andromeda. Let's go. Research still moving along at a very nice rate, which is lovely to see. I'm going to go ahead and queue up some additional options, which still are requiring basic tech. Yep. And then mass construction, blueprint without limit. I'm not really using that right now. And let's back out. Oh, perfect timing. We are on approach to Alpha Andromeda. I'll just fly the rest of the way in manually. And one thing I should probably do is go ahead and get a lot of this stuff in my inventory stashed properly, because I'm going to need the slots. Also, I have several chemical plants. Need to address that. Bit of a hard landing. It's fine. Everything's fine. Alright. Copious amounts of everything are being brought to me more or less immediately. I do see that... Okay, good. There they are. Also, how's power here? Let's take a look at this. Better, but not perfect. And still exceeding demand at points. Oh boy. Yeah, this is probably because of the bots flying stuff around, would be my guess. And having to recharge. And also because I'm being given stuff. Storages that were full and that things were not being produced for are now producing again. This happens routinely whenever I show up and start pulling stuff off the planet. So you can look at that a couple of different ways. You can look at it in terms of, oh, okay, you need to have more power production here. Or you can say, that won't be a problem as soon as you finish what you're working on. And you can come back here, set up an artificial sun, and everything will be completely fine. And that's true enough. Another thing that I could do is I could just set up some of the ray receivers here to use the artificial sun tech, which reminds me, hang on. Go ahead and grab some of those from here, and then just a little bit of silicon here. Don't worry, I'm not actually going to set these up. Not for ray receiving here. Actually, I will set them up for ray receiving, but I won't set them up for photon production. Alright, so these are pretty much done, but... Perfect. Yeah, see, I had a feeling I could do more here. And then if I go down to the other pole, I can do the same. Now let's get another 4 being produced. That means I'll have 5. And I think one of the reasons I decided to do this is I don't know that I have all of them set up down here. Oh, I do. Okay. Good. That's honestly better than I thought it would be. So this should help me get a lot more power on Alpha Andromeda until we have the artificial suns and no longer have to worry about it at all. Which, that day is coming. And I cannot flippin' wait. Now, of course, these have to continuously receive as well, but we're already seeing the generation capacity of the planet kind of rise a little bit. And the more these are in continuous generation mode, like this one, notice this one is producing 15 megawatts at 100% continuous receiving. Hopefully these are not at such a low latitude. They should be able to continuously receive given that they're right at the pole. So as long as that remains the case, power generation on this planet should no longer be a problem. Again, especially once we have antimatter rods set up. So now that I've got my logistics slots refilled properly, a couple of things here. Well, maybe we don't need to bring anything else with us. Let's see. We're just going to be producing graviton lenses. Yeah. It was really just the conveyor belts that I needed, so let's go back. Well, before I go back, let's take a look at hydrogen and make sure that our renovated situation there is working for us. Looks like it is. So that storage is slowly filling up. These are no longer backed up at all. How is fuel production? You know what? I'm just going to delete these. Because at this point, they're very rarely being presented with any new fuel. So I'd rather just let those function the way that they should. And be done with it. See, now look at that. All of a sudden, it seems like there's even more fuel coming in. It's probably because all of the things that started producing, like I said a moment ago, have stopped now. So things are settling down and oil is coming back in. We've reached a point of complexity with this entire logistical apparatus that is genuinely difficult to commentate on. In a way that transcends the things that have previously been genuinely difficult to commentate on. Because there's so much happening at any given moment. So let's head back to Alrami and continue working on our beautiful new outpost. Speaking of complexity. So I'm going to land here, and I'm going to go straight to the South Pole on Alrami 2. All right, good. Already have several diamonds and some unipolar magnets being brought. Now I did set up that, you know what, I said I went straight to the South Pole, but that's not what I need to do. I actually need to go to the existing production apparatus here. Because I set up that splitter and then wasn't able to do anything with it. Notice, by the way, that we are filling up on solar sails. So that's really nice to see. Our current setup is working. How is the... Yeah, we're at 447 and climbing megawatts. Look at that Dyson swarm. Got a solid ring and growing. And we can do even better. We can do a lot better with just the Dyson swarm. Let's also take a quick look since we're here. Look at that. Look at that stream of photons coming in. So we actually have close to 200 ready. So we already have the capacity to build the antimatter that we're looking for, but I am going big or going home, basically. So, with that in mind, you know what? Let's just go ahead and output it right here. keep it elevated by 1 slot, and we're going to bring it all the way down, because this is the dark side of the planet right here. This is almost like a boundary that I'm setting in an aesthetically pleasing way. And this copper is just going to come straight down. Alright, here we are at the South Pole. And of course we have to go around here, that's fine. Okay, so now I'll have it come down to ground level here. And then go like so. So obviously it's already fully connected. My construction bots took care of everything. So what we're doing with this copper is we are producing particle containers. In order to do this very effectively, I need to have... there we go. There we go. Resources already in place. Absolutely gorgeous. And as a consequence of that, let's just build 10 of these for now to get started. Well, same thing though that I did before. Let's go ahead and set one up properly. And we can have an output right there. And I will have to bring these lines around a little farther. That's completely fine. Done. Okay, so with that, oh, there we go. Drawing a blank on the exact recipe for a moment. It'll take a second for all of the resources to make their way all the way down, and that's completely fine. It's to be expected. It does seem like the first several are really chewing up most of the resources, but that problem seems to be slowly fixing itself. Let's delete the extra lines for now. Okay, now with those being made, we have a particle container recipe for strange matter. Now this is going to require deuterium and iron, and I'll need to bring the iron in from an additional source. Thankfully, that source is on this planet. So I'll probably do the same thing. Yep. Easy. So straightforward. All right. I can do the same thing here, just with a different resource. The main thing is that I want to make sure that it's lined up just as well. just for aesthetic's sake, you know? So the best way to do that, I mean, it looks like this might actually work for the most part. So let's try this. It's going straight so far. Also, we're 30 minutes into the episode, so I need to stop here in just a second. But, okay, yeah, there we go. We're hitting a slight change. So I'll have to use straightening a little bit. See if we can just go with that. Okay, so strange matter is going to need 3 things. We already have these produced on Alpha Andromeda 2. And deuterium should be available now. It is in large quantities. That's good to see. So it's just a matter of getting them lined up appropriately with the output of these. Yeah. So we basically need an iron line here. This should work beautifully, in fact. Yep. Right now that is an elevated line, but it's not going to be for much longer. Let's have it, first of all, just stay straight for a moment. Have it go down to the ground. How about that? Yeah, just like that. Now, one thing that didn't happen with this line, I managed to get away from the line before it fully built. I was moving a little bit too quickly. There we go. So now we have iron ingots specifically. And before I end this episode, one more resource which we will need is deuterium. And I'm just going to have it fed directly like so. And then it will briefly, yeah, best way to do this here would be like that. And then like that. Check this out. And just like that, we have all the ingredients set up for strange matter. And then when strange matter is combined with diamonds, we can make graviton lenses. And when graviton lenses are fed into the collection apparatus that we've already set up, which, by the way, is getting more and more potent as this number increases. And we're not even done increasing that number. We're not even done, you know, producing the maximum number of solar sails and EM rail guns that we're going to have on this planet. But it's already a very healthy Dyson swarm. As all of those things increase, we will produce more and more photons, which will enable us to use dark matter power on all of our worlds, which will finally put us in the position to build this little fabled thing called a Dyson Sphere that we've been working towards for nearly 80 episodes now. So, with that being said, I'll go ahead and stop this episode here. In the next one, I'm going to get these particle colliders built and start producing these resources that I'm talking about. And we might even, by the end of the next episode, see an artificial star go up. So, you know, I'm wrapping my fingers together in anticipation right now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. If it's not your first time or even your second, look for the join button to access unique emotes, badges, and other perks. New episodes are coming out every day at noon U.S. Eastern Time, and comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think. Nice. Finish that research, and I'll see you next time.